Good evening. Hi, this is Helen Ronsky. I'm your interim CEO at Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada, and welcome to our FaceTime Live tonight. We've been looking forward to this all day, and we're so happy to have you here with us. I want to make a couple introductory remarks before we move on, because I've heard from so many of you on Facebook, by phone, by email, and I can't tell you what that means to me. I feel like through your communication, I'm getting a very good pulse on the needs and the different directions that our volunteers would like to see us go. So first of all, a little bit about myself. As your interim CEO, I will be here through the program and fiscal year, which will be up through October 1. And my primary purpose in being here is that the board really wanted to take a look at strengthening some of their procedures, their operational areas, both in the field, in the community, as well as internally, operationally, to get better realigned with our national practices. And so as we move forward, we will be looking at realigning not only with GSUSA as an organization, but also the 111 councils in addition to us, and putting in best practices. And that kind of leads us into the firestorm that we've had the last couple days. And a firestorm it was about the cookie program and sale, especially as it relates to our Juliets. And as I said on the Facebook to many of you, one of the things that we will look at, and I will have set up for next year, is a very tight operational plan for our cookie program and sale. Coming in late December, that plan was already in place with dates and operational areas, and so it wasn't something that could be easily changed. But you have my commitment that I will do my due diligence around strengthening our cookie program and sale, and especially for Juliets, because in my mind, as I said before, Girl Scouts are Girl Scouts, and we really have to start looking at how we treat our Juliets throughout the jurisdiction. So part of the realignment process for us is to strengthen our volunteer system. It was very clear to me from the first time that I met a number of volunteers here in the council that the volunteers have, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter who or why or what, for whatever reason, the volunteers have been kind of pushed away and pushed out. We cannot operate this council without volunteers. We have a very small staff against a very large number of our membership. And so therefore, my role here will be to strengthen the volunteer role, to strengthen our 31 service units, which we will talk about a little bit later. And let me just walk through that a minute so you get a sense of it. The council bylaws state that we will organize around service units. That will be our organizational jurisdiction. And a service unit would be Henderson, Boulder City, Las Vegas. It's all the individual communities. And we have 31 of those, including zip codes that reside in San Bernardino, California, and Inyo County, California. The 31 geographic areas, or as we call them, service units, have a volunteer management team, and that helps keep all of the processes and the organizational work at the geographic location. And what that means is that the service unit going forward, the structure that we're looking at, is there would be a service unit manager and usually a co-manager. Just keep in mind, of the 31 service units right now, we only have 9 service unit managers. So we are very, very weak in our communities with volunteer leadership. In addition to that co-manager, we would have a treasurer for the service unit. We would have a troop mentor, an event coordinator, and lastly, we would have someone within the service unit that would be responsible for all communications throughout that service unit. Now, let me make a very quick reference to the transition later that you'll hear about of the Juliet funds to the service units. Keep in mind that in the structure, you could have 2 treasurers. You could have one for the service unit. You can have an additional treasurer that would handle just the Juliets. And let me put that in perspective. Right now, of the 31 service units, the highest number of Juliets that reside in any one service unit is 14. And then it goes down to 13, 12, and many service units do not have any Juliets. But that's something we want to change, and I hope you feel that way too. So that's the design structure. That's my commitment to you as your CEO, is to strengthen our volunteer presence throughout our jurisdiction and throughout our council. We together, the girls, the board, the staff, the volunteers, our donors, and the community, we represent the council. So with that, with those couple of remarks, I just want to turn this over now to sort of the main event of the evening. And to my right is Jessica Patterson, who is our CFO, and she will be going through the bank account. Ooh, it's been a long day. We had to submit our cookie order, which is still not submitted. We're doing it in the morning, so it's been a long day. But Jessica Patterson, our CFO, will be going over the troop bank account transition and Juliet's and service unit. And to my left here is Maribel Garcia, who is our Director of Member Services. So with that, I am tossing it to Maribel.
Thank you all for joining us here tonight. I just wanted to explain a little bit more about our service units and how exactly we are laid out in our jurisdictional areas. To give you an idea, here is, these will be available on our website, so everyone will have access to them, and I can definitely print them out, and if anyone would love to pick them up, we can do that or mail them out. But our jurisdiction area, if you can see here, we have Lincoln County, Nye County, Esmeralda County, Clark County, Inyo County, and the San Bernardino County, which of those California counties include 6 zip codes. So that's to give you a little bit of the outer lying areas. And they're broken down, like Helen mentioned, by service units. And then this is a zoomed in map of looking at our Clark County service units. So service units are comprised of a regional zip code area, and they're all labeled by color, so you'll be able to see which service unit you lie in. We also have vistas. Vista is a collection of service units that are, what we've done is basically broken them up in a quadrant here. So we have this Northwest Vista, the Southwest Vista, the Southeast Vista, and Northeast Vista. And I can definitely walk through these maps. These are brand new. We've updated our service unit maps, definitely to include our other counties, so that everyone can get a perspective of how big our jurisdiction is and the possibility of all the girls within our jurisdiction. Okay. Again, if you have any questions regarding the maps, if you need some maps, I can definitely get those to everyone. And then I will pass it over to Jess for our exciting news on bank accounts.
Thank you, Maribel. So thank you so much for joining us. This is a big change, so I appreciate your time. Before I get started with the Troop bank account and the really need of it, I want to just clarify two really big points. The first point is that during this transition, your Troop number and your bank account number are not changing. So that means that if you have deposit slips, checks, debit cards, all of those stay the same. If you ordered a ton, you can still use them. So that's the first big piece. The second big piece is that if for some reason you're not able to fill out the paperwork that we've requested by the deadline on February 9th at 11:59 p.m., that's okay. The only downfall to that would be that you will not have online access when we do the switch, and you will need to come into the council to make those changes because everything will still be sent to the council. So just two big pieces that we're not changing your account numbers, we're not changing your Troop number.
And Jessica, if I could add, I forgot to mention, part of this changes is part of the realignment process. We are the only council out of 112 councils that manage Troop funds. This is not our role. This is GROW money. This is your money, your community's money that you have available for Girl Scouting. Having your troops manage this money is an important part of the financial literacy that is a cornerstone of the Girl Experience program. So going forward, please know that number one, that this money needs to go back to the communities. The council, the office should never be touching this money. Secondly, that through multiple audits, we have been criticized for the management of this money. And so we are changing that this year with me being here and going through this bit of realignment. And thirdly, we are going to go to a completely new financial software system within the next 3 to 4 months, and we have to start preparing for that transfer. So these funds have to be moved out. So Jess, I just wanted to add that because I know those are decisions that are made at the management level and board level, and so that's our rationale for getting this done, and frankly for having to do it so quickly. Jess, back to you.
Thank you. So let's talk about how we currently operate and the differences that are going to come about. So right now, whenever you need to make a change or update a signer, you have to go through the council. Our goal is that as of February 17th, and we'll go through the timeline in a moment, that you can go directly to the bank, interface with the bank, and make those changes and manage your accounts. You'll have more flexibility in your debit card use in the sense that you can have 2 debit cards for each leader, and you'll also have an online banking option that's more friendly and more consumer friendly. It'll be more similar to what you're used to in your personal banking. So let's talk about the timeline. We had sent out communication yesterday. Wednesday was yesterday.
To our troop leaders.
To our troop leaders, asking them to fill out essentially 3 things. There's an online web form that we are asking all our troop leaders to fill out with their current bank account information, their troop name, and then also where they want statements to be sent and who should be their point of contact. As part of that online form, there's also 2 PDFs that we need some information and signature on for our records. By filling out that form, pulling down the PDFs and filling out those 2 PDF forms and uploading them, that's the only thing that we need all our troop leaders to do by February 9th at 11:59 p.m. As of February 17th, we will then transition internally, or from an operations perspective, all the troop accounts to you. So what that means on February 17th is that you will lose online access. So on February 20th, you can go into the bank, get online access, order a second debit card, and make the changes that you need to make. And February 23rd, we have our sweep. And again, I want to reiterate that if you aren't able to fill out the forms, you can still use the account, you can still use your debit card. There's just another step involved in terms of making this change and having the autonomy to manage the Troop account.
Jess, I'm going to step in. Hi, everybody. This is Linda Bridges, the Vice President of Marketing. We have a couple of questions coming in. So the first one from Deborah Fusaro. Sorry if I mess up your name, Deborah. Couple of clarifications.
Sure.
So she asks, I only need to fill out the ACH form. Is that correct?
We would prefer you fill out both forms in the PDF and the electronic interface form. So it's really 3 things that you need to fill out.
Okay, Deborah, let me know if you need clarification on that. The second one was, I was told that I would not have online access anymore unless I go to the bank, and that eDoor is being closed.
That is correct. As of February 17th, eDoor will be shut down. So you would need to go into the bank that following Monday and get online access for you. So it will be, right now we're on a corporate platform. It's going to be switched to a consumer platform, which is going to be a lot more flexible. So yes, as of February 20th, you would need to go in and sign a form with the bank to get online access.
Okay, so Deborah's clarifying, and she said they said that they only need the ACH form if you are not changing the account.
We are requesting all forms be filled out for our record purposes. These are the same forms that will require all new troops to fill out. So we want to maintain the exact same requirements for our current troops as well as our new troops.
Excellent. So Christina Dugan has a question. How does the sweep work if we have independent accounts?
What do we mean by independent accounts?
Christina, if you could clarify, that would be fantastic.
Is she talking about
just-
Juliet's or? Well, go ahead.
Yeah, in terms of the sweeps, whether or not you move your account or not, the office will still be able to do the sweeps for the cookie proceeds. So don't worry about that. Don't get fanatical about it or frantic that there's no time. Listen, no one knows how busy you are more than I do. And I respect your time tremendously. So having said that, just know that from our standpoint, whether you have moved it or not, there's no issue with the transferring of that money. So if things come up, and they do, and you can't get it done by then, we don't want you to worry. Everything will continue to go smoothly until you have that opportunity to, after the deadline, to come down to the council, and we'll get that switched over for you.
Great. And just to clarify, Jess, why would we need to fill out the change of address form if we are not changing the account?
So right now, most accounts addresses, everything is addressed to Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada. What we want to do by making this change is have the primary account holder, the signers, have everything be sent to your address. So that's where that address change comes in. We're changing it from the council to the primary signer's address.
Great. Okay. And a big thank you to all 35 viewers so far.
Woohoo! All right.
Nice turnout.
Hi, everybody. Oh, this is exciting.
So Jess, did you want to cover the timeline if we haven't already done so, or we can move on to our frequently asked questions?
So let's reiterate the timeline one more time. So from now until February 9th at 11:59 p.m., we ask that all troop leaders click the link in the email, fill in the online form, and then fill out those PDF forms, sign and upload them. Only one of the forms has identified a signature line, but please upload those to the online form. As of February 17th, current eDoor access will be shut off, and that switch internally is going to be made. So on February 20th, you can go into the bank, get online access again, and also order a second debit card. And then the next cookie sweep is February 23rd.
Great. Okay, so a couple of the sort of frequently asked questions that we've been receiving. If there are no changes to the bank account at this time, what do I need to fill out, Jess?
The online form and the 2 forms in the PDF. There are 3 pages in the PDF. The first one is instructions on just going forward, how it will work. The second form is information for the council, and the third form is the ACH authorization.
Couple more questions coming in. Ashley asked, can I independently go to the bank with my co-leader and get on the Girl Scout account on February 1?
No, if you are a current troop leader, we require you to go through this process.
Great. All right, thank you, Ashley. Jess, one more frequently asked question. Do troop leaders need to go to the bank to set up online access?
They will after February 17th.
Great. And when can they request access to online banking?
After February 17th, so the following Monday, which I believe is February 20th.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
I have date problems.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandy Smith asks, can the forms be brought into the office?
Yes, if you would like to fill out the online electronic form and then physically bring in the PDFs, that is fine.
Great. And just to reiterate to anyone new joining us, this Facebook Live will be archived here on our Troop Services page and on our YouTube account. We do have 2 non-Troop Bank account related questions. The first one, very timely, involves cookies. And Deborah Gahn asked, is there a shortage of s'mores? Has anybody heard of a shortage of s'mores? Say
No.
that 10 times fast.
We have not. I just received an update from ABC on the s'mores. The sale of s'mores is running around 9.5% of what they thought. And our council right now on our initial order is running at a little ahead of that at 10.5% of our total sales. And I asked the same question. There will be no shortage of s'mores at this time that ABC is predicting, our baker. Good question, thank you.
Yes.
I was just talking earlier about fact and fiction, so I'm happy to hear some of these questions.
And Maribel, this might be a question that you can answer. Deborah also asked, how many Girl Scouts are in my jurisdiction?
That's a great
we
question.
have that, yes.
Great question. I didn't have that.
I would have to pull up my laptop, I think. What is your jurisdiction, Deborah?
And
That's
we can
a
always
question.
send that
Yeah.
at a later
You know
date.
what?
I can
Yeah,
definitely-
We'll send that. For every service unit, we have broken down, which we will be presenting at the next service unit managers meeting, the total available girls. We have 182,000 girls in our jurisdiction spread across those zip codes in California and the 4 counties in southern Nevada. Of those girls, we have it broken down by service unit, what your available girls are, and how many you actually are serving. And let me just say again, the total number of available girls in our jurisdiction is 182,000 girls. And right now, as of today, we are serving 4,000, just about 4,100. So we have a lot of area of growth to look at, and that's a very exciting opportunity for all of us.
Excellent. And Terry says she's excited about s'mores. So are we, Terry. We're very excited.
Yeah, we are.
Jess, 2 questions from Eileen. The first question is, will we be able to use debit cards with a PIN?
I believe so. We will double confirm that, but yes, you will still not be able to withdraw money, but the debit cards will have a higher limit, and you'll be able to use them for larger purchases.
But I just want to make sure we point out that when they go to the bank to update that information and get the 2 debit cards, if they wish to do so, that's when the increase will happen, not at the time that you're with your current debit card. If that makes sense.
That's a good point to make.
Okay.
Great. And Eileen's second question is, will we be submitting receipts to council in June, July?
Yes. So although we are transitioning the accounts to be managed by our troop leaders, we will still require troop treasury reports to be submitted in June.
And that, for all of you, again, that's an audit issue. It helps to sustain and maintain our 501c3 status, our nonprofit status. because as all of you know, there is no sales tax attached to Girl Scout cookies, because first and foremost, the cookie event is a cookie program and then a sale.
Great, thank you. So Jess, Christina has a question. We have 2 leaders and a treasurer. Can we all be on the account?
You are allowed up to 4 signers. We recommend that you have 2 leaders as well as a service unit manager or leader from the service unit team, but we allow up to 4 signers going forward.
Right. And then Elizabeth has a question. Will we be able to deposit into an ATM?
I will have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure of Nevada State Bank's capabilities,
Yeah.
so that's something I'll have to ask the bank and follow up on.
Great. So kind of going back to some of our frequently asked questions, Jess, if they don't, going back to our timeline, if they don't send back the bank paperwork on time, what happens?
Nothing happens. We will still be able to sweep funds. You will still be able to use your card and function as normal. What will happen though is that you will lose online access and you will have to come into the council to make the change.
Great, thank you. And we might be wrapping up in the next few minutes. I think we've covered all of our topics. So if you have any other questions, please submit them. And actually, Tanya Laundry just did. So hello, Tanya. Can my treasurer go in to get online access and a second card, or does the troop leader need to be present?
The signers need to be present to do that.
Yes.
Great. And another frequently asked question, not everyone who is listed on the bank account has received the email. If they have not received an email, please email us at customersservice@girlscoutsnv.org. It is possible that they have opted out or have unsubscribed, and we want to make sure that we have their correct email address and that they are opted in.
Excuse me, Linda. And Linda, as the director of marketing, and I have discussed that. Many of you I've seen on Facebook saying you're not getting the updates or the emails or constant contact messages. As we've gone back to check in the system with your name, we're finding that many of you have opted out. And we by law cannot send anything to you unless you go back into the system, right, Linda?
That is right.
And you choose opt-in. So as we start going through there and identifying people, we will reach back out to you and say, will you please go back in and opt in so that you can start receiving the messages. So if you are already not signed up, just go in. And Linda, where do they do that do they do that on our website?
Actually, no, they will have to email us.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you have uncertainty about your status on emails, send us an inquiry and we'll quick check your name and let you know if you've opted out or you haven't opted in, and then you can go ahead and get on the bandwagon.
Great. Thank you. Jess, Terry'd like to know, do we have to keep our accounts with the Nevada State Bank?
Going forward, you will not have to keep your accounts with Nevada State Bank. What I recommend that is you are interested in changing banks, please let the council know, because we want to work with each of the banks to make sure that you are getting the best deal and the nonprofit rates. So if you are interested, please let us know and have a little bit of patience and we'll get something worked out so that you can go to your bank of choice.
Thank you. And Leah, I know that you had a question and unfortunately I missed it. If you could resubmit, I'll make sure to get that asked and answered. Lacey has a question. If there are 2 leaders on the account, can we fill out the forms together and only have one submit the online form and upload the paper forms?
Absolutely. So we need 1 per troop.
Great, thank you. Wah has a question. What do we need to take to the bank? Do both signers have to go in at the same time?
I would recommend both signers come in at the same time so that all the paperwork can be signed by both of you.
Great.
And I'd just like to thank you again for helping us today.
Yes.
Wah was in the council volunteering. Thank you, my friend.
A clarification on the online banking, Jess. Unless they go to the bank, will online access be terminated?
It will be as of February 17th.
Great. Okay. And then maybe in closing, if we could sort of reiterate the timeline and our reasoning behind this change.
Sure. So I'll go over the timeline again. Please fill out the forms and ask your troop leaders to fill out those forms by February 9th at 11:59 p.m. Your role during this transition as service unit leaders is to communicate this with your troop leaders and provide any clarification and let us know what you're hearing and what we can do to address it.
Great. Thank you. And then perhaps, do we talk about the reasoning? Sorry, I was writing mine.
Oh, again, once again, as we fall asleep, once again, the reasoning is because this is part of our national alignment of our councils with the rest of the Girl Scout community and movement, and that's one of my principal roles in being here with you during my stay as the interim CEO.
Great. I believe, Maribel, you're going to touch on Juliet's, but we have several questions coming in if we can hop on that right now.
Sure.
So how will this transition affect Juliet's?
Great.
So the Juliets are part of a service unit. They should be served by the service unit as far as special events and any communication that goes out, so that they feel welcome and part of Girl Scouting. When the way they've been sitting now is under council and not one person has been managing it. So it'll be a lot easier for them to get the communication. The other thing is that the money is going back to their service units. And I know a lot of Juliets have struggled to get registered for events and just process anything on our end, just because, again, we don't have a dedicated person dealing with the Juliets. So all of that is going, the Juliet funds will be going to our service unit, and then you'll have someone there directly to help you with your funds, register for events, and they'll hopefully be a collective group of girls actually making those decisions together so that they're managing their funds. As Helen mentioned earlier, we have 141 Juliets across our jurisdiction, and the largest that sit in one service unit, which is a collection of zip codes, is 14 girls. Then it just starts trickling down. We even have some service units that do not have any Juliets at all. In March, we will work with the service unit managers, treasurers, and managers to talk about the training and this transition so that they're prepared and have a clear understanding on how to manage the funds for the service unit and for the girls.
And I think an important date also is that we won't actually be making the transition of Juliets till the end of April. Mm-hmm. So we'll have a training in March and then have a month to really get prepared and make the change.
Great. Maribel, you might have answered this, but I want to make sure we answer it for Gina. How and where will Juliet's deposit cookie funds?
Juliet's deposit cookie funds directly to Nevada State Bank. We will have, if we're talking about this cookie season, we will have deposits slips available for them when they pick up their cookies on the weekend of February 10th and 11th. Mm-hmm. And we will have those deposit slips available for them.
Great. And then how will Juliet's receive cookie proceeds, and is there a timeline?
The cookie proceeds will be as soon as the sale ends. Mm-hmm. Jess will have that all ready and calculated for everyone, and we'll make sure to communicate the available funds to all girls.
Great. And Gina, I think this is your final question.
Thank you, Gina.
Hi,
Gina. Will we still be able to use the cards issued last year?
You can still use the cards in the retail shop. If you want to register for program events, currently, until we make this change through April, you would call the council in the same manner that we're doing now. So,
Great. Mm-hmm. We have a question from Haley. How will the service unit bank accounts be handled? In the same way as troop accounts?
I think, yes. They should be
Yes.
handled
Yes.
the exact same way
Exactly.
as troop accounts.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Haley. And yeah, so we're almost finished. If you have any other questions, please let us know.
Oh. Well, if you guys have any questions on the jurisdiction, I'd love to send. I'm so excited about our new map.
Yes.
It's so nice. It's nice to know exactly where every zip code lies and the amount of girls that we have per zip code. It's been exciting to see a new map.
And as we go through the transition of the bank accounts, please reach out to the council if you have any questions. Give us a call, 702-385-3677. Send an email to customerservice@girlscoutsnv.org. We're here to help. We want to make this as easy as possible.
Okay, no
Well,
more questions.
Great.
All
All right.
right.
Well, it was so great to hear so many familiar names that I've been interacting with on Facebook. Thanks for being here tonight. With that, thanks. I know this is time away from your family. I know this is dinner time for many of you. It is for us, and so thank you for spending some time with us this evening. I want to invite all of you again to the cookie kickoff this Saturday from 10 to 2 p.m. We're all going to be there.
Yes.
I'm so excited to meet many of you personally that I've been interacting with on Facebook and the phone, email. Please be sure you come up and introduce yourself to me. I just can't wait to meet you and your families. And don't despair. It's $5. You can drop in at the door and just pay your $5 per person. And with that, I do want to say one thing that's very important to all you Girl Scouts. Remember the promise and the law. You should be starting every troop meeting with the promise and the law. Every service, anytime you meet in a gathering, start with the promise and the law. It is your guidepost. That's all you need to know right there. And continue to be a sister to every Girl Scout, to one another, and help lift each other up. There's so much despair out there right now, and you all know that as you look at your Facebooks. It's politics, and we can be a bit of a shining light to each other, and so make sure you take advantage of the opportunity that you have as being a Girl Scout, because it is very special. So with that, we're going to sign off, and thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.